Well, welcome back to Faith versus Fear, and we're coming to the second part of this week's podcast. And we've talked about fear and we've talked about faith, and we've explored the battle between the two. But today we're stepping into one of the biggest sources of fear that's in our lives, and that's the fear of the unknown. The places where answers are unclear, where outcomes are uncertain, and where control feels just out of reach. But here's the truth we're leaning into today. Fear thrives in uncertainty, but faith grows in it. So let's start with something that we all feel. We like to know what's coming. We like our plans, we like our predictability, and we like control. Because certainty feels really safe. So when we know the outcome, we can relax, we can prepare, and we can manage expectations. But the unknown, it disrupts all of that. The unknown asks questions like, what if it doesn't work out? What if things go wrong? And what if I'm not ready? And then suddenly your mind starts trying to fill in the gaps, usually with the worst case scenarios. This isn't just personal, it's human. Our brains are wired to seek that uncertainty and control. Why? Because certainty reduces risk. It helps us to feel safe and stable. So when something is uncertain, your brain tries to fix it by overthinking, planning every possible outcome, and trying to control things that aren't actually controllable. And here's the problem. Not everything in life can be predicted, and not everything can be controlled. And when we try to force certainty where it doesn't exist, we create anxiety instead of peace. So let's talk about control for a moment. You know, control can feel comfortable. It gives us that illusion that if I just plan enough, think enough, manage enough, everything will work out. But the truth is, there are always things outside of our control, such as other people, the timing of it, outcomes, and the unexpected changes that come along the way. And when life doesn't go according to plan, our fear increases because control was never actually guaranteed. So the question becomes, what happens when control isn't possible? And this is where faith steps in. Faith doesn't require you to have all the answers. It invites you to trust the process, even when the outcome isn't clear. That doesn't mean that you stop planning. It means you stop trying to control everything. See, faith says, I don't know how this will turn out, but I'll take the next step. Or it could say this, I don't have all the answers, but I will trust. I'll figure it out along the way. It's a shift from needing certainty to embracing growth, because the unknown is often where growth happens, strength develops, and new opportunities appear. There's a powerful reminder in Scripture, because it says this, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. Notice what that says. Lean not on your own understanding. In other words, you won't always understand. You won't always see the full picture. But trust doesn't depend on full understanding. It depends on willingness. That's a willingness to move forward, even when clarity is incomplete. So let's make this real. Can you think about a moment in your life where you stepped into something uncertain? Maybe it was starting a new job or moving to a new place, ending something that no longer felt right, or beginning something that you weren't fully ready for. At the beginning, it probably felt uncomfortable and maybe even a little bit scary. But looking back, that step into the unknown likely led to these scenarios. It led to growth, new experience, unexpected opportunities. And that's the thing about the unknown. You can't see the outcome at the start. But that doesn't mean there isn't something meaningful ahead. So what if, instead of resisting the unknown, you started to see it differently? Not as something to fear, but as something to explore. Because the unknown isn't always a threat. Sometimes it's an invitation to grow beyond your comfort zone, discover new strengths, and to step into something bigger than what you had planned. See, faith allows you to step into that space without needing the guarantees. So letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the need to control what you can't and focusing on what you can. Your effort, your mindset, your willingness to take the next step. You don't need to have everything figured out, and you just need to be willing to move forward, one step at a time. Take a deep breath and sit with this question. What are you trying to control that you need to release? Is it an outcome, a situation, a timeline? And just notice it, because sometimes the very thing that you're holding on to is the thing that's holding us back. The unknown will always be part of life, but it doesn't have to be something you fear. It can be something that you grow through, because while fear thrives in uncertainty, faith grows in it. And tomorrow we're going to talk about how to actually overcome fear through faith and what it looks like in everyday life. So until then, take one step into the unknown.